Hey guys, Creekside Baits here, doing a video of not a winter tactic, early fall, spring and summer tactic. I don't like to use in the winter. The bass aren't really up for it, but in your lake or pond it might work. But for me, these baits are basically useless. It's just a 5 1/4 inch worm that I hand poured. Really good quality bait. You can't see, if I go closer, see how it gets blurry, so you can't see the detail on it. But it's a really good worm. You know, when I do start selling these are going to be some great worms. You're going to love the detail. It's going to feel like you're just buying it from Yum. If you don't like Gary Yamamoto or wherever you get your worms from. But it's just a 5 1/4 inch worm, watermelon red color. But it's not about the worm. It's more about the tactic. You got a small hook here, saltwater hook. Traditionally, they use a circle hook or a weighted circle hook. They have hooks for this wacky rigging, but I've always just used this. Now, first, how you just traditionally wacky rig is I learned this from Big Boy Baits or Southbound Fishing or Fishing All Day 31, whatever you want to call them. I learned this from him. Bend it in the middle. Make sure it's even. Put the hook in the plastic. Put it in the plastic. Make sure it's kind of centered in the middle so you have a chance so it doesn't rip that much. And there you go. Now I could put a bullet weight right here and it'll sink to the bottom and I can kind of jig it. I can kind of jig it off the ground. But what I like to do more is I'm looking for a smaller type of worm, maybe like a 3 or a 4 inch worm, for those little lily pad situations where I don't want to go out and buy a weedless circle hook because those cost more and they're not always time weedless. Instead of using a giant 5 inch worm for like these small bass, I prefer like maybe a smaller 3 or 4 inch worm. So the 3 or 4 inch worm is where I like to throw it with a spinning reel. Just a spinning reel. I throw into lily pads, just no bull weight, just weightless, wacky, same hook though, same hook. 3 inch, Senko, maybe in a light color like a white or a pink, a red, a light red, or some that'll stand out in the water. This watermelon works good too, but that's only on sunny days, and the bait's got to be oiled so the glitter shows up pretty good. Now, when you throw it into the water, it doesn't really sink. It's the wacky rig, this plastic, it slow sinks. It sinks super slow. So I'll let it sink maybe a foot into the lily pads, a little big open area for the lily pads. I'll let it sink, and when it sinks, it kind of flutters. Like these parts go up and just kind of wiggle back and forth just a little bit, but when you put the bull weight on there, it wiggles really good, and it's like kind of like a really fast flutter. That's good for summertime. I'll throw the 3 inch in there, and I'll cast it in there. I'll twitch it a couple times. You get a small 1 or 2 pound, if you're lucky, on a good day bass, But the 5 inch, I would suggest the 5 inch and more next to the lily pad. You're bringing out of lily pads. You're in like kind of seaweed grass type stuff. Cast it out as far as you can. Salt helps. It's heavier, so you can cast it farther if it's full of salt. Plus the scent of salt, which is really good. The salt dissolves in the water, and you can get the action out of it. And they got those little tube things. Those O-ring, wacky rig things. I don't like them. There's no point in them. I don't get it. I just wacky rig through this a bunch of times until it falls apart, and then if I can't melt it down, I'll throw it away. That's what we've been. People have been doing that for like 5 or 10 years. I don't think the worm's that old, but we've been using that for 5 or 10 years. So there's no need for like an O-ring. But if you're one of those people who like to salvage their baits, this is hand poured, so I don't really care. I could melt this down again. This hand poured, yeah, so I can melt it down again. But that's just me. But if you're one of those people who have a tight budget, it's a Gary Yamamoto worm, I would suggest doing that. But that's just Creekside Baits way, my way of wacky rigging a 5 1/4 inch worm. I wouldn't suggest wacky rigging anything bigger than a 5 inch, because then it's just going to be like wacky rigging a 10-inch worm. There's no point in that. But you know, wacky rig's pretty good setup. Little tiny twitches, maybe a big twitch a little bit. Little short, subtle twitches on a spinning reel or bait casting, whatever you prefer, is how I usually do it. Alright, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And I'm working on the website right now, and it's coming pretty good. I just got to get the shipping and the supplies, and I'll get it out to you guys. Alright, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.